remember that? Yeah, that's like most of our first experiences with the internet, right? Like if it was late at night and you wanted to get on the internet, you'd have to take a pillow with you and wrap it around the modem so that the next door neighbor wouldn't wake up, right? Or you'd come home for the day and you'd have to call the internet so that you could get on AOL Instant Messenger so you could chat with Cutie Girl 322. But then your grandma would call and it'd kick you off the internet. Unless you were one of those rich people that had two phone lines. So you had a phone line for your computer and then a phone line for the phone so you could call the person that you're chatting with on the internet, right? But then sometimes you would run out of your free 500 hours of AOL and hope they would mail you a new disk. And if you didn't, you had to pay for hours of the internet, right? And you had to have the internet. Like, it's the information age. Because before the internet existed, if you had a question about something and you didn't know the answer and your friends didn't know the answer, you had to get in a car. You had to drive to this place called the library. You had to get out of your car, you had to walk in, you had to go find the card catalog box. You had to open it up, find the card, Dewey Decimal System. I don't know what this 315.72 is, so you walk over to the librarian and she just gives you that judgmental stare. Walks you over, hands you a book that's 20 years old, and maybe you'll get the answer. But because that was so much work, sometimes when you just had a question and you didn't know the answer and your friends didn't know the answer, you just had to wonder. You just had to sit there and go, I wonder. But now, oh, look what we've got. When you have a question, hey Siri, when will Chick-fil-A have spicy chicken nuggets?
Here's what I found on the web for will Chick-fil-A have spicy chicken nuggets.
Work, work, work. You see me heavy work, 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 work. You see me do me that. There's something that I work. When you walk a line. I'm in the cafe,
Okay, so sometimes we use the internet for information or communication, or sometimes we watch videos of pigs twerking. But at its foundation, at its core, the internet exists to connect us. And we've had this cool tool for a couple of decades now, and there's more technology today than ever before in the history of the world to connect with the people that we care about. But if we're honest, a lot of us probably feel really disconnected more than ever. And here's the reason why. Here's the problem. You and I, we have a finite capacity to connect, and now an endless audience that demands our attention. Think about it. When you used to quit a job, or you'd move to a new town, or you'd go to college, or you had a life change, those relationships from the past usually died away. And now, when you leave a job, you're still friends with Bill from accounting that was 3 rows over, and you kind of sort of knew him via proximity. And you're BFFs for life now. And with every post, and every comment, and every like, and tweet, and Snapchat, I'm 30, I can do Snapchat. With every one of those, it takes some of our capacity. And so we have these surface level relationships with hundreds of people, and we don't have the capacity to connect deeply with those that matter most. And so I think that as the world gets smaller, as the bounds of geography kind of close in on us and we can connect more easily, that you and I are going to crave physical, 3D, real-life connection more than ever before. And we can feel it in this room, right? There's a reason you paid money and took time off of work to come to a conference with people you met on the internet because you're crazy. But also because you crave that 3D connection. And the more and more we have that, the more we're going to crave that connection. And the internet, it's a safe place for a lot of us because we can pick and choose the community groups that we hang out in. We can find who that right fit is, and we can see people that we are connected with and that have like thoughts and similar hustles and things that they're working on. And so we like those people. But sometimes there's some internet bullies, right? And they will, they'll maybe disagree with you. They weren't mean, they would disagree, or they maybe challenge you, and we don't like hearing that, and we have a block button. And so as you're getting ready to launch out, as you're getting ready to go chase after whatever this awesome thing it is that you want to do, I think it's important that we recognize we have a finite capacity to connect. And that it is very important that in your local community, where you live, you find people to connect with. And so if we're going to say that, then we got to put some action steps to it, right? So there's a few things you need to know. The first is serving your local community, connecting with them, and developing deep relationships needs to be a priority. And so when I launched my real estate business, if you don't know, I do have a real estate company in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's huge. Anybody ever been to Dallas? Okay. So Dallas is huge. It takes 2 hours to get from one side of town to the other. And I can sell houses anywhere in there. And so I'm selling houses and kind of mapping out the plan. And I thought, you know what? There's this thing called the internet, and I can build websites, and I can drive traffic to this website, and I can create leads that would convert better than anybody else can, and I can become a good real estate agent and get a lot of clients this way. And so I spent a lot of time learning things like search engine optimization and website development and ClickFunnels and all this stuff that we all hear. And guess how many clients I sold? Goose egg. But when I'd call my friends or even acquaintances and ask them how their kids are or how their wife is or how's work going, and at the end of the call say, man, the real estate market is crushing it right now. Do you know anybody that needs to sell a house? I could get referrals. And I did that a bunch. And I make those calls every day, connecting with people. And I built a real estate business that is pretty good because I connected with those people. Now, when it came time to develop the business plan, like the big, hairy, audacious goal, 5-year plan, what's that going to be? Started looking, I'm in the Metroplex, it's huge. So we just cast a wider net, right? And bring those people in. I love Texas. Jared told you. And it's not just because we have better queso or Tex-Mex. Like, there's so many reasons, man. But specifically, I love Mansfield, Texas, where I live. And more specifically than that, there's a 3-mile area around my house where there's about 3,000 houses. Those houses go to the same elementary school my kids go to. They shop at the same grocery store. We eat at the same restaurants. And I love that little area. So as I started planning out this business plan, I looked and said, there's 3,000 houses. On average, there's 210 homes sold a year within 3 miles of my house. The average sales price is $300,000. Let's do some hashtag mathing. That's $63 million of real estate being sold within 3 miles of my house. Just take an average commission on that. That's $3.8 million in real estate commissions happening within 3 miles of my house. Guess what my business plan is now? To serve and love and be an investment into those people, to those 3,000 homeowners. And do you think that over a period of time, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years of consistently and intentionally investing in the lives of those people, do you think that I can tap into that $3.8 million? A little bit. But it's not just about the money, y'all. We want our company in our community to serve those people and love those people and connect those people so well that if we stopped doing what we're doing, there would be a void. They would miss us. It would be noticeable that we are no longer serving them because we served them so well. So, strategically invest in your local community is a big deal when you're getting ready to launch out, even if it's an internet venture, even if you want to be an internet entrepreneur. Now, if you're wanting to do all of this stuff, you need to know that investing in people and connecting when you're struggling with bills and debt is a little more difficult. Because not always, but often, investing in somebody else and connecting with somebody else is going to require some cash. It just does. If you want to handwrite 5 note cards a day, every day for an entire year, you're going to spend over $600 in postage. If your neighbor down the street has a surgery, and I'm in the South, so when somebody has a surgery, we take them a casserole. And that's going to cost me $10 or $15 or $20. And so I'm going to take them a casserole, but there's 5 other people in my community that needed some food or needed something. And when I'm struggling financially, that $10 or $15 adds up to $50 or $100 or $200 really fast. And it's hard for me to connect the way I want to because I have student loans, I have a car payment, I have a mortgage, I have credit card debt. So I'm not going to teach you guys how to get out of debt today. I got tons of resources for that, or build wealth or anything like that. My website, you can pull out your phone. It's casey-lewis.com. And for launch out people, do /LOATL. And you can sign up there. I will, before I'm done talking, email you the checklist that Sarah and I used when I was launching out full-time. The financial checklist, like what do we have to have done before I go full-time at this? And you'll get an ebook that's 30 Days to Better Money. It's going to take care of all the other stuff so that you can focus on this stuff, okay? Third thing, you have more influence than you think you have. You may say, I don't have much influence. You do. If you have a kid, you have influence. If you have a spouse, you have influence. If you have friends, you have influence. And what's cool is you're a dreamer and a builder and an encourager and a hustler, and all these things that you love about the internet and why you flock to the internet and get in these safe circles, you can be that to your community. You can be the encourager that you go seek on the internet. You can be that because your community doesn't have it. And you can connect with them. So if you're going to do that, to connect with them, then you're going to need kind of be strategic about this. So, when you meet somebody new, whether it's this weekend here, whether you've known them since kindergarten, you need to start making a list. Write down the names of everybody you know, and when you meet somebody new, write down their name, get their email address, get their home address, get their phone number, friend them on Facebook, find them on Twitter, connect with them on Instagram, get to know that person, and then put them in some sort of stinking database. And strategically invest on a daily basis into the lives of the people in your community. And so how that could tangibly look is on your birthday, like, hey, it's my birthday, thank you all for tagging me on Facebook and all that. But on your birthday, or on a friend's birthday, you notice it on Facebook, and you happen to be driving by their house. Why not stop at the store and buy a cupcake and just hand deliver it to them? Or somebody's pet dies, and they post it on Facebook because we share all our business. Take 5 seconds and handwrite a card and put it in the mail next time. Man, I'm sorry about your pet. Or just show up with dinner one night, or offer the parents with a new baby to just babysit their baby so they can go out on a date night. Look for those tangible things that will help you connect because you have more influence than you think. Last point, and I'll close. You have the relationships in place now to start connecting and dreaming. Right now, currently, you have those relationships. And I didn't quite grasp this until I launched my first book, which is called Impact. You can buy that on Amazon because my kids need shoes. So I'm launching my first book, and my blog has just reached that point where it's more than like my mom reading it and her bunco friends. Like, when I click the page and refresh, it's more than just me checking the stats. And I've got a decent email list, and I'm coming up on launching my book. And so like any big, great, brilliant dreamer, I said, let's throw a party, like a big party. Let's go all out. So let's rent out a theater in our hometown. Seats 150 people. Let's sell tickets to it. Let's talk about the book. Let's throw a party, hire a party planner. Let's get a DJ up in here. Let's have a party to celebrate the launch of my book, and maybe I can sell some books. And so this was my big book launch genius idea plan, and started promoting it about 2 months before the book launch to my friends on the internet. And then a month, and then the week before, I had sold 1 ticket to Mama Lewis. And the day before, I kind of start freaking out. So I start emailing people, just said, hey, just show up. Like, I don't care, just show up. have some barbecue, because it's Texas. And that night I got up on stage to talk, and I looked out in the audience, and there were 18 people. I kind of felt a little bit like a failure, right? But as I looked out, it was my pastor. It was our worship pastor at church, who I lived 6 doors down from, who happened to be my college recruiter that recruited me to DBU and connected me with my wife. It was my wife. It was my parents. It was my sister. It was my brother-in-law. It was my friends. It was my life group. It was my community. It was the people that I had taken time in the previous years to deeply connect into their lives. And when I needed them to be there to support and encourage me, they were there. What's even more cool is at the end of the night, those 18 people bought 150 copies of my book to give to their friends and their family. And if you've ever self-published a book, you know 150 copies is a ton. So you have people right now that support you, that love you, that care about you, they want to see you succeed. You have the relationships in place already. So I'll leave you with this. As you are launching out and chasing after whatever this awesome thing is that you want to do, you have a finite capacity to connect. And there's going to be this temptation to find safe circles on the internet that you easily connect with. And I want to push you and encourage you to serve your local community, love them well, and to connect with them. Thank you.
That's pretty good for a Texan. Great job, Casey. Thank you very much. Man, I think there was some really pretty profound wisdom sprinkled throughout that we do have a finite capacity to connect, and that we are going to, if not already, crave real-life interaction. And so, of course, you've got his takeaway points, but man, for me, I like to think about it, my quick takeaway, when you throw a party to launch your stuff, who is really going to show up? Who's really going to show up? For me, he's rattling off that list. He's got Mama Lewis. I've got Mama Murr. I'm gonna connect with those people before this weekend's over and just tell them thanks, or I love them, or whatever I need to say to them. And that's a good reminder for me, Casey. Thank you very much. Coming up, who is writing your story? Michelle Descavage is a certified life purpose coach, writer, speaker, wife, and mom whose desire is to help women discover their value and worth. She's a former gymnast, volleyball player, basketball player, and once led her team to victory despite having a broken ankle. She's really kind of the Carrie Scruggs of our group. So give it up, if you would, please, for Michelle Descavage.
You're not good enough. You don't measure up. You don't fit in. You're a failure. Those were messages I heard growing up. Thankfully, never from in the walls of my home. I'm actually the youngest of 2 girls, a daughter of a football coach and elementary school teacher, so I was taught the finer points of a 3-point stance and how to throw a spiral and how to love a good book. So I was always outside, usually with dirty hands and scraped up knees, and if my older sister was doing it, oh, I guarantee you I was doing it too, and I was probably going to try to do it better. And that was fine, and it was fun. And then somewhere in adolescence, some messages started happening. All of a sudden, I was the girl who was too stubborn, too strong-willed, too honest, too outspoken, and the biggest grievance seemed to be I was not at all like my older sister. And it was very confusing because up until this time I'd been writing my own story and I was fine with it. I enjoyed it. But now I was a little bit confused, and I remember on 2 different occasions, 2 different coaches, 4 years apart, began to demean and degrade me in front of gyms full of people. And I could not handle that. I did not know how to handle that. What I do remember is the shame and embarrassment of those moments and thinking maybe they're right, and I believed a lie this whole time. So the easiest thing for me to do was to say, here, You tell me. You tell me who I should be and where I should go and what I should do, because this tension of what I believe and what I'm hearing is too great for me. So that's what I did. I allowed other people to write my story, and it was a wreck. And I remember a moment after college, looking at my own reflection one day and having no clue who I was. And I was beaten, I was frustrated, and I remember shouting out, God, who am I? What have you called me to do? Why am I here? Because if this is it, I am done. I cannot do this. It hurts. All I know is this anger and this frustration, and I hate it. And he very gently said, my child, you cannot give yourself unless you have yourself. He said, you have been created on purpose and for a purpose. Would you please gather your wits, have some courage, take back the pen, and start writing the story I have for you? And so I did. And it was a lot better then. But not a lot of people liked that decision. You see, there are those people that I had allowed to do my story for me. They didn't like the control being taken away. They didn't agree. There were people who didn't understand. There were confines. This is how we do things. Not me. I don't care what you think. This is my story. This is a path I'm supposed to go on, so I'm going to walk it. And so these nice little pretty boxes people had constructed for me, I ignored. I smashed. I questioned them. Not a lot of people like their beliefs being questioned. I had fun questioning them anyway. Kind of honoring. And that went on, but what I also found is there were other people who had felt like me, I started to notice as I would continue to write my own story, they would take one step, a little bit further out into their own, because when you are writing your story, you will empower others to do the same. And you've heard that throughout this whole weekend. It is not just about us. It is never just about us. And as I've continued to write my story, opportunities I could never fathom have presented themselves when Susie Eller, Proverbs 31 speaker and writer, asked me not once but twice, would you share on my website? Thousands of women will read this. I think your words will positively impact them. I don't question that. Yes, that's the next best step in my story. Yes, Susie Eller, I will write for you. Thank you. I'm a monthly contributor to Internet Cafe Devotions, they have thousands of women monthly visit their site. I get to encourage women once a month through one little post. And I've been able to speak at women's Bible studies and for different organizations, and I guarantee you this would never have happened if I had not taken that step to start writing my story. And so last year I had this crazy idea that I should write a women's Bible study. And there were people, oh, can you do that? You didn't go to seminary, you don't have the training, you don't have this, you don't have that. I don't care. I'm stubborn, I'm strong-willed, I'm supposed to do this, so guess what? I'm gonna do it. And it was not easy, but I knew it was the next best step for me. And then I kind of got the idea, well, since I've written it, I probably need to learn to teach it. So I kind of put out on Facebook, and my sweet mom wanting to help ease the blow just in case. She said, well, maybe just a few people since it's a summer will come. And I thought, well, I know 3 because they're 3 of my closest friends. Their butts will be in my living room because I'm going to make them. 12 to 15 women on any given week would show up. I had no clue what I was doing. They were like, Michelle, how's this going to work? I don't know. We're about to find out, though. And it was great because even in the mess of our stories, it is still good. There is still value and there is still worth. And what I found, even through this process especially, is the help I needed always presented itself at just the right time, in just the right way, from just the right people. Because I was being true to my story, and typically it was people who are willing to walk in their own story because there is no competition there. And look around this room, there is no competition. There are people who have similar vision and goals that I do, and I can learn and grow from them. And it's not, oh, well, I don't think I want to share with her because then that's someone to compete with later. The better you are, the better success you have, the better chance I have. And I love that. And I went, oh, I'm going, sister. And right here, she told me, this is my daughter. She actually said, do you think when you get to the part of me that you can hold it together? Baby girl, I'm going to try. But right here, this is my best life work. And she is already writing a story. She's an incredible human being. Jared Murr has already declared her his favorite person. She's not even here. But she is already writing a story of art and music. And she is a deep thinker like her father. She loves fiercely like her mother. And in an area where athletics reign supreme, she is an intellectual. She is an artist. And I know there will be people who will tell her, Zoe, that's not right. This is who you should be. This is where you should go. This is what you should do. And what I want this little girl to say is thank you. Thank you for giving me your input. I believe you have my best interest at heart. But you see, my mother told me that I was able to write my own story. And I think it's worth writing. She told me that. And I know you may not understand it, but I believe that I can because every day of my life I watch my mother do it. You guys, that's really what it's all about. As much as I believe in that amazingly beautiful little girl, I believe in every single one of you. I believe you have a story worth sharing, worth writing. Because there are days it is hard. There are days that I think, I can't do this. All those people who said all that stuff, they were right. I'm not worth it. I have nothing to share. I am a failure. But then I look and I see what you guys are doing and I see where you guys are going. I'm like, yes, I can. They're doing it. Yes, I can. And I have people who step up. Are you being true to yourself? Are you writing your story? I need that from you. I want you to take back the pen and write your story.
Great job, Michelle. You cannot give yourself unless you have yourself. I thought that was really cool. Man, you guys are like the one-line kings and queens. When you are writing your story, you will empower others to do the same. But then the one part that really jumped out to me, she said, for her, at just the right time, just the right help has showed up at just the right way. Now, I love that because as we especially take that to the hero's journey that we're talking about, once you've crossed the threshold into the unknown, then that's when you'll meet new enemies and new allies. And I'll speak from my experience. When you have that unknown, just the right people will show up in just the right way. There's an old parody movie from about 16 years ago where Mr. T shows up to the high school quarterback at the end of the movie. I don't know, maybe the Newscast can do some research on this. I can't remember what it's called, but it's hilarious because Mr. T shows up and he's a janitor and he's sitting there on the bench. The high school quarterback's just had a terrible moment. He doesn't know what he's going to do. He comes over, he sits down, throws his helmet, he's all shaken up, and it's the crescendo of the movie. He looks over, and Mr. T's sitting there. He says, "What are you doing here on the sidelines?" And he says, "I'm the wise janitor. I show up at just the right time at a crucial moment in your life to give you encouraging words and inspire you to greatness." And I don't know who your Mr. T is going to be. There'll be moments where you're like, I don't know how to figure out this stupid WordPress thing, but somebody will show up at just the right time and be like, hey, I got that. I got that answer. You may go, for us, I'll give you a case in point. Jeff is now, I didn't even know he was the Accounting Hall of Fame. I'm really excited because we've reached out to him for accounting help. Who knows? I got a Hall of Famer on my team. Booyah! Yeah. So that's great, man. So at just the right time, it will help. So if you're going, I don't know, and I'm not sure, and I don't know what's going to happen, I mean, this hero's journey stuff seems to not only, it is really life reflecting art, reflecting life, or whatever it is, but it's true, and I've seen it over and over again. So if you're unsure, you're probably in the right place. Thank you, Michelle, for encouraging us to write our own stories regardless of what other people say, or even if we're unsure what to put on the page yet. Really, really good stuff. Next, I'm excited about this young lady speaking because I don't know what the heck's going to come out of her mouth. I'll be totally honest. I also am very encouraged and believe that because I don't know if you happen to see any of her video, that she posted in response and in readiness for all of this launch out stuff. Did anybody see that? I don't know. It was amazing and hilarious and awesome. So I'm really, really excited to see what she has to say. On a serious note, Whitney Treloar is a certified health coach, speaker, and writer. Despite many physical obstacles and chronic illness, food addiction, and mental health challenges, Whitney tells her story and shares her wisdom with anyone she may be able to help. She has a soft spot for those with metabolic syndrome, single moms, overwhelmed families, and the clueless but seeking. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Whitney Treloar.
Hi, guys. This is my launch. I mean, this is it. I'm a speaker. I am a speaker. I am called to speak, and yet, this is my first conference. And I'm so very, very honored to be among you guys who I know and love and have interacted with, and I know you love me back. And so I'm really lucky right now, and I just want you to know that that's significant to me. And there are a few of you that I don't really know that well. I've met for the first time. When you meet somebody for the very first time, there's this question that everybody asks. It sort of makes me panic. What do you do? Yeah. I mean, you have a couple of options. I mean, Marketing 101 tells you that you give your niche pitch, you know your niche pitch, you know your elevator speech, you know that thing, you know it, right? But when I give that, I'm lying. I'm a big liar. I'm not doing that. So if you were to say, what do you do, and I was to tell you that, it would be a lie. I don't like to lie. So I have another option. I could distract you. It could be like, so what do you do? I love Jesus! And I do. I sure do. I really do. How about you? What do you do? And so that's the truth, right? Or, I could be transparent and actually honest, and I could tell you what I do. And what I do most of the time, actually, is like plan and overthink and daydream and procrastinate and, I don't know, rethink my whole purpose in life. Anything that I can do to keep myself from doing what I'm really actually supposed to be doing. I do stay busy. I stay busy. What I mostly do more than anything else is go down little rabbit holes of information. It's like find myself stuck in content of experts. The people who tell me how I'm supposed to grow my business, right? I'm learning how to grow my business. I'll tell you what I'm not doing, though. I'm not growing my business. No, I'm not. I'm just learning how. I'm just consuming content, like so much content. I've been doing it for like a couple years. Like I started my business over a year ago. I don't have a client yet. I haven't made any money yet. My PayPal is like, I mean, I stay really busy. I mean, I really am. I'm very, very busy. I am so busy doing what I'm actually doing. I'm not doing what I do. Busy is what I am. Like I have a family, I have kids, I'm like raising people into like responsible human beings who glorify God. I mean, that's kind of, keeps me busy, And I spend downtime because I'm chronically ill, so I gotta, be less busy, which isn't really all that fun because my brain is always pretty busy. But I'm so busy consuming content all the time, I'm like saturated. I'm like engrossed. I am overwhelmed. It's coming at me. I did it on purpose. I did it to myself. It's coming at me from the radio and from the TV and from my phone and from my lap. It's like pew, 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 constantly. I'm so tired. It's like pew, pew. Talking about pews. Last week, I'm in church. In church. I'm in church. I'm at rehearsal I'm on the worship team. I'm at rehearsal, okay? I'm like concentrating and I'm getting in the right mind. I'm like, yes. YouTube, Yahoo, Google, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram. Online classes, Mastermind, Anchor, Snapchat, Google Hang. I'll be fair though. I mean, I have learned stuff. Like every time I have clicked or listened, I've been listening, I've been watching, I've been opting in, podcasts, I buy people's webinars, I like buy classes and leave them in my inbox. And I have learned, what I've learned is that we should, you guys all know this, we need to be creating content. Creating content. I'm consuming content about creating content. Like I'm consuming it, but I'm not creating it. And I have content. I mean, I got stuff to say and sing and act and give. I got stuff. You guys have stuff to say and give and make beautiful, important, valuable stuff. You guys all do. We all have wonderful comment. But we're so busy consuming, I'm so busy consuming, that I'm not creating. If we don't share our content, whatever it is that is, if we don't share it, that's a tragedy. That's a sin, because that's what we're made to do. We need to give it somehow. We need to get it out there. The avenues to get it out there are overwhelming, though. Like the modes, the platforms, okay, so I've learned a little something through my own mistakes, and I'll share it with you. I've simplified it for myself. I've come up with a super easy 3-step plan, and I'm going to share it with you, okay? 1, pick a mode, 2, 3, that you're good at. You already are good at stuff. You don't have to learn all 65 of them and be an expert. I thought I had to be an expert. No. I mean, I do Facebook, I do Instagram, I'm going to make videos, I'm going to live stream. You guys pick what's good for you and that you're already good at. You blog, you write, you have a book, whatever it is. Pick that and announce it so that you are accountable. Announce it. Announce it today, even if you're already doing it. Tweet me. Put our hashtag on it for Launch Out Atlanta. And number 3, get it out there. Do it. Start. That's been said. For the record, what do? I inspire people to be honest with themselves and with others. I educate them about health and wellness and all kinds of other junk that I've learned because I'm old. And I encourage them to improve every single day with baby steps. And I also want to share something else with you because I have learned stuff. Like my rabbit holes have taught me something. I made a little something for you that I want to share with you right now.
10 Steps to a Successful Live Stream. Brought to you by Whitney Trelaw. Step 1. Go with a look. Decide what your look is, lock it down, and be consistent. Popular visual motifs include Buck Business, Buffy Basic, Hudson Hipster, and Windy Wellness. Step 2. Choose a catchy title for your broadcast and use at least 15 emojis so it'll stand out from the thousands of other catchy titles with at least 15 emojis. Step 3. Have a beverage handy, depending on your look, and interact with it. Step 4. Say hello to your viewers over and over and over and over.
Good morning, Becky. Hey, Jess. Hey, Marco. Hey, y'all. Who's here?
Step 5. Introduce yourself. Take a long time here and really drag it out. Brag on yourself. Do your niche pitch or your elevator speech. Then give examples of where your work has been featured.
I'm Buffy Breckenridge, and I am a certified life coach, and I coach life coaches who coach life coaches, and I coach and mentor, and I thought partner, and I write, and I blog, and I speak, and I teach, and I'm a published author.
You get the point. Step 6. Introduce your topic and try to get it all out in one go, despite the audience interaction, because this is the only time you'll ever touch on the topic.